or Thiru, as his friends call him, teaches in FIU School of Education and Human Development, which is part of CASE, the College of Arts, Sciences, and Education. Thiru came up with the idea of offering multicultural experienceships, the topic of today's discussion, in response to the divisiveness caused by the 2016 U.S. presidential election. Also today we have Dr. Dorret Sawyers, who is currently the director of FIU's Office of Multicultural Programs and Services, or MPAS. Her employment at FIU began in 1992 as an academic advisor in the Office of Minority Student Services at the Biscayne Bay campus. In 94, she was promoted to assistant director, and in 96 was promoted to associate director and transferred here to MMC. In 97, while serving in that role, she was asked to serve as the director of the newly funded TRIO Student Support Services program. Currently, she supervises both BBC and MMC's MPAS office, the Student Support Services program, and LGBTQA initiatives both fall under the umbrella of her office, MPAS. She is a graduate of Tuskegee University, where she earned a bachelor's degree in business administration. She went to the University of Missouri-Columbia, where she earned a master's in public administration and later earned a doctorate in higher education here from FIU in 2011, the program that I'm in right now, actually. So thank you both for being here today.
Hi. Good afternoon. Can you hear me from here, or do I need to use the microphone? Here, because I'd rather walk around and talk to you rather than stand back there. Thank you for coming here. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to present for about 5 to 8 minutes, and then Dr. Sawyers will talk for about 5 to 8 minutes, and then we'll open it up to all of you to have a discussion, or if you have any questions or comments, and we'll discuss the idea of multicultural experienceships. As Dr. Feldman said, the idea for having a multicultural internships or experiences came about because of all the news I've been reading, especially the New York Times and other newspapers, which talked about divisiveness of the 2016 presidential campaign. Usually in this country, what happens is after a presidential election, both parties come together and say, okay, let's get together and move forward. But that didn't happen during this last election. I think the divisiveness continues. So one of the, as you can see, some of the articles, I think you were given an article from New York Times, but I found a couple of other articles also. Voters expressed disgust over U.S. politics. That was one article I found. And 2 other articles, election exit polls reveal a starkly divided nation, and then political divide splits relationships and Thanksgiving too. And that other article says even families are divided because of the election and the divisiveness of the campaign. And somebody said that in the 2016 presidential campaign cycle, the mood in both major political parties and among the electorate as a whole is one of anger, division, wariness, and resentment. I think that's very true. You can see that in almost every news shows, and any TV show or newspaper article you read, you'll find some on this topic. You'll find some references to the divisiveness, and it's continuing. Like I said, the situation continues to worsen, and you're all college students. I'm sure you have friends in other campuses, other universities. I'm sure you have heard about incidents in other campuses, which are kind of incidents, racially charged incidents around the country. Right now, today, I heard that in some university, I don't remember where, there's a speaker, and people arrested a lot of students because students protested against this particular speaker. And it happens more often than you think nowadays. If some university campus invites a speaker, students don't like it, and then they protest. And in this campus, it's kind of, we have a good group of students, and we are very diverse, and we haven't had major problems in this campus so far as far as I know. So in many universities, I've started offering awareness programs or talk about different things about how people can get along well with each other, but it's all talk. I mean, and probably when they're discussing things, it kind of ends up in shouting matches rather than anything concrete happening. So that's one of the reasons why I'm suggesting that you have what I call multicultural experienceships to allow people to get along with each other and understand each other's backgrounds so they can get along, or at least develop some awareness. And I think this could be for a credit, 1 to 3 hours of course credit, supervised by faculty members, of course. And students will will and should have a say in how this experience-ship works. I'm just presenting an idea. I'm not trying to say this is how it should be done. That's why you're all here to tell us how it should be done, if you think it should be done, and what you think should happen in a multicultural experience-ship, so people get to know each other, accomplish something, and get along well with each other. And one of the things I'm suggesting is we start a multicultural experience-ship on a pilot basis, because we don't want to start a full-fledged program not knowing how it's going to be received by the students and what's going to happen within these experience-ships. So I'd like to start on a pilot basis, in a small basis, and then if it works out, make some changes and tweak it, and then expand it to larger groups of students. And also, at that time, maybe we can look for some funding, because universities like all these programs to be funded by somebody. So we can look for external funding and expand the program after we start it on a pilot basis. And we can have a website where students can post information about their backgrounds, and then others can say, okay, I want to know about this person's background or something. So like a matchmaking website, I guess, but it's for a different purpose. And a coordinator can match the internships or the experience-ships. And we can have the experience-ships completed in pairs or in smaller groups, depending on students' preferences. So, and it could be for a semester or 2 semesters with credit associated with it, with college credit. And we should have some clear expectations, I think, for the internships, what should be accomplished in it, and also make sure that nothing goes wrong. If the people who are doing the internship cannot get along with each other, then stop it and then find some other person to work with. So it doesn't things don't get out of hand. And they should be given the option of withdrawing from such internships if they feel that it's not working out for them. Either party or groups of people can withdraw from it. That's some of the basic ideas. And of course, any college-related program should be assessed. We should have some kind of an assessment, see how it works, a periodic meeting with the faculty member, and kind of interviews with the students to make, and then a final report students can give at the end of the experience-ship, and in between also. That will help us decide how it's going, what changes need to be made, and then how to slowly expand it further. So assessment is an important key also. And we should talk about both the report should emphasize both the positive and negative aspects of the experience-ship, so we can learn from the negatives as well as the positives, and try to minimize the negatives and then emphasize the positive aspects of the expand on the positive aspects. And then we can also, when somebody completes that experience-ship, they can come and guide future students and then offer suggestions for improving it in the future. So that way we continue to improve on a continuous basis. It's called continuous improvement. That's a model that accreditation agencies use. I guess we can apply those principles in this setting also. Then each college has to decide, and that's why I decided to offer this roundtable. After I speak and after Dr. Sawyers talks, we'll open it up to you for questions and answers. And the experience-ship is based on theoretical considerations. Long ago in 1954, Gordon Allport, a psychologist, suggests that what he calls a social contact theory. If people come together for meaningful purposes and they can get to know each other and also contribute to something. In the deeper and more genuine the association, the greater is the effect. And while it may help somewhat to place members of different ethnic groups side by side on a job, the gain is greater if these members regard themselves as part of a team. So form a team of people from diverse backgrounds and have them do certain things, and hopefully they'll get to know each other and develop an awareness of each other's backgrounds. And that's the theory. And the theory has 4 components. When people get together in an experience-ship, they should have equal status. Equal status. And then the common goals, so they should decide what they're going to do together. And there are a lot of things people can do on a campus. For example, I see fundraising efforts all the time. I think 2 days ago there was a big fundraising group on campus. So the multicultural experience-ship can result in maybe fundraising for a good cause, or do something on campus, maybe recycling things, or collecting trash when people throw things out, or some good cause which students can identify themselves and then work towards those causes. So it's a common goals are there, and then cooperation between the groups, and then support of authorities. So if the university is probably the authority in this case, if the university supports it, and if you have all four of them, equal status, common goals, intergroup cooperation, support of authorities, it looks like research has shown that things work. Results from meta-analysis conclusively show that intergroup contact can promote reductions in intergroup prejudice. That's something, as in 2006, somebody did a meta-analysis. A meta-analysis means that they looked at findings of different studies and kind of put them all together and decided, and then they look at it and see if it makes a positive impact or a negative impact cumulatively. It's like a cumulative literature review, but using statistical methods. So you have numbers, concrete numbers saying, yes, it does work. So meta-analysis did show that it works. And the contact theory applies beyond racial and ethnic groups to embrace other types of groups as well. As such, intergroup contact theory now stands as a general social psychological theory and not as a theory designed simply for the special case of racial and ethnic contact. So it could be for any diverse groups. And we have Dr. Sawyers, who's an expert on diversity. She's going to be talking about that in a few minutes. So that's the idea. Started on a pilot basis if students are interested. And then in the long run, if it works, it can be part of the university's core curriculum as well. That's the idea I have. But I want you to tell me what you think about the idea in a few minutes. And then I will answer your questions, and you can share your concerns or your comments, and then we'll go from there in a few minutes. Okay?
I'm coming from a diversity perspective in this dialogue or this panel discussion. And when Dr. Thoreau met with my department to talk about the multicultural experientship, we could connect very easily because on so many levels. Because I always felt that even though we are at a diverse institution, we have not really capitalized on all the benefits and all the things that the positive outcomes we could have from being more interactive and using our diversity to our advantage. So from my vantage point, and as many of you know, that diversity is a very hot topic, multiculturalism on campus, not only for race, ethnicity, and gender, but also religion, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, age, and the like. But why is this important at all in college campuses? And having worked in a diversity role as the director for multicultural programs and services, that's not my background, as you heard, but I've worked in this area. I've found that there are so many benefits for us to really comprise all this diversity that we have to get the best effect. Because number one, being multicultural, if we really utilize what it offers, it expands our worldliness. And what that means is, for many people, when they come to FIU, it's their first real interaction with people from diverse groups. Can I show of hands of anyone that applies to? Was FIU kind of your first experience of being among a diverse group? No? Okay, well, this is Miami, but if you had gone to, say, further up the road, you'd probably get a different reaction. So whether we like it or not, many times we find ourselves segregated from other groups in your schools, your churches, or even your own neighborhoods. So for many students, a college campus is like opening the door to an entire world of, without having to travel anywhere else. Secondly, I think utilizing our multicultural abilities or focus that we have at FIU enhances our social development. Because when we interact with people from different groups, it widens your social circle. And also it expands the pool of people with whom we can associate with and develop different relationships. I'm sure you'll agree. Just consider how boring your conversations would be if you only had friends who has everything in common with you. I also feel that the multicultural focus, and if we were to expand and have that multicultural experience-ship, it would help to prepare students for their future success. And that implies that we're going to have to be we're in a diverse workforce, and it's going to require us to be more sensitive to human differences and also the ability to relate to people from different cultures. And our workforce is getting more and more diverse. And as a matter of fact, it is predicted that America's working age population comprised of members of the minority groups is expected to increase from 34% to 55% by 2050. So it's going to look very different. And it prepares you to also work in a global society. No matter what profession you're going to enter, you're going to find yourself working with employers, employees, co-workers, customers, or clients from diverse backgrounds worldwide. So by experiencing some diversity in college, you're already laying that groundwork to be, to feel comfortable working and interacting with a variety of individuals of all nationalities. And I have a few more ways or things that that are so important for you, what you can learn, because you have a lot of people who say, why do I want to participate in a multicultural experience-ship? What benefits? And I was kind of outlining some of the benefits of having that experience and how a multicultural experience-ship can help you as you embark on your career, and also as you develop friendships and learn more about different cultural backgrounds and identities, so that you can be more part of a global society. And I would also agree that that would help, to limit some of the divisiveness that Dr. Thurut talked about, and what we saw during the 2016 election. Because I really think that you could tell that a lot of people did not have a lot of knowledge, a cultural base was not there. We saw so many insults on so many levels, and I think that when we utilize our multicultural perspective, that and some of the benefits that I just outlined, that we would have a different approach. And you're going to be the next generation, and you're going to make things better. So I have others that I could share, but I'm just going to hold on to those, and you probably may have some of your own when you ask questions and see how this, what you could do to increase your cultural overall knowledge base. I hate to just keep talking, so that's why I'll hold off and wait for questions.
I guess we can open it up for questions or comments or concerns, and then we'll respond to your questions. I'm going to stand there. If we
Okay.
So my voice has been acting up, so I would like to talk more, but I guess I'm still looking for more of a picture of what concretely this experience looks like. So as some of my global learning modality students might know, I find it's internship opportunities. In terms of what distinguishes this and what the practical elements are, is it still with an employer? Is it with other students? And what practically is different from an internship? Because
this is housed at FIU, I would say it's for other students, but I don't see why it cannot be incorporated into other departments also. Maybe a department where there's lacking in diversity could get somebody to be there for an experience, working with the boss.
Thing is within FIU, the experience
to start
the project you're doing is at FIU.
To begin with. And then we can move into the community if necessary, later on. But I'd like to start something like this and see. First, I'd like to hear from the students what they think about it, and if they think they would like to participate in such an experience-ship, and also get ideas from them on what it should look like. I don't want to say this is what it should look like, but I want the students to come up with ideas. If they agree, yes, we need something like this, we would like to be part of this, then they can tell us how it should look like, what it should look like.
I would like to hear that too.
I'm taking this class called Happiness at Work, and I think it's a new class. They've been out for 2-3 semesters, and for the course material we use documents the professor has come online. So what I wanted to know is, are you guys going to be using both? And do you guys have a preference for specific both for the lectures, or is it going to be something similar where you use articles?
remember I showed you a theory. It's based on the idea is based on the theory. So because it's an experience-ship, I think it's more project-based.
Yeah.
People working together on a project, and if necessary, they can read books or articles along the way. But I don't think this will be like a formal course.
Right.
It's more like an experience or an internship kind of a credit where you get credit. Okay.
Any questions?
First of all, let me ask you a question. Do you think you would like to participate in something like this?
Okay.
Maybe show of hands.
Okay, great.
Okay. So what do you think should be a part of such an experience? Yes.
Some sort of get together of everyone, like maybe something like a potluck, or just everyone getting together to meet. So like food usually brings people together.
Bring people together. That could be a start. That could be a start, and then build on it to do something together. So you understand people from diverse backgrounds. Okay. Pardon?
You can talk about like the different traditions and different cultures and stuff like that.
Okay.
Say teach other like cultures, like other cultures, like as far as like
Okay.
regular basis.
Sure. Again, that could be a good start talking about it, but I want to go beyond talk. Actually have people work together, do something together, so they can have a deeper understanding of each other's backgrounds. But that's a good start, potluck in the discussion.
Maybe like theme, like have different themes. Like this week we're gonna touch on this culture, like just, and have somebody who's obviously a part of that culture like lead it.
Okay. But what about the idea of working together with students on some projects? Would it be, you think it should be part of the course, or is it a course? So we talk about different cultures in different weeks, but students who attend those lectures are working together in teams, pairs, or in small groups. Okay.
Yeah, build bridges to the community, like establish events with different cultural groups within the community, so it's like more of a feedback from the wider time area.
Okay. I requested this and I forgot to use it. So, potluck. Let me make sure. Potluck. Different cultures. I need a class in handwriting. And you said
That's a professor in you.
traditions
And customs, did you say? Traditions and customs.
and customs. Okay.
What about wearing, if they have a national
Building bridges.
garb or something, and find out more about why they wear it, and
An anonymous question.
Okay. Okay. Anonymous question box. What would that accomplish?
Well, if people are scared to ask questions because they don't want to look stupid or they don't want to look racist or they just don't want people to judge them if they do have questions. I feel like it's a great way to understand them.
Good.
I was gonna say that I had an idea of like I don't know what, like if you were to document, for example, like me as a Latino and then my experience ship with like an American white person, and then document it, or like you kind of make like a little movie or a short film out of it. It creates like a legacy, and like everyone else can benefit from our experience ship. So it's not just us.
how you're similar, and how things that you do that are similar, and those that are different.
Okay. I blame computers for
Sorry.
my handwriting. Sorry. Yes.
I was thinking talking about the problems in the world and then discussing them as a team, either seen as problems or solutions for it.
Global problems.
World problems.
Okay. What are some of the concrete things that students can accomplish on campus or in the community as part of a multicultural experience-ship?
Joining a club, maybe like something that you wouldn't normally, people you wouldn't normally associate with.
Okay. Join a club or form a club? Okay. Good. So,
He just said it.
he said it?
Just any club?
No, join a club.
That's
when
different from?
No, what he said was join a club that is, different from you. Let's say you're African American, you would join Venezuelan Student Alliance. Just do something to break that bridge.
Mhm.
Great.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the idea of a documentary was presented to kind of help others understand what the one group learned. Any other ideas for sharing, disseminating information, or assessing a multicultural experience-ship?
For an interview, I did once working hands-on to solve problems and tactile puzzles and whatnot. Because I learned that working to solve something helps build connections between people. So maybe working to solve something tactile and then.
Solving puzzles, you said? Problems and puzzles, okay.
What about length of time for that experience-ship? Do you think a semester would be adequate? Or a full year?
I think a semester.
Semester?
Semester?
We have one question over there. It's opening.
I really like a full year just because through that you can experience so much more his holidays and other events that have specific dates. So it really helps with cultural immersion.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be just a semester, but my idea why I thought a semester was better than a full year was only just because because then say that it starts in the fall and then I find out about it in the spring, I have to wait till next fall to sign up. So semester by semester based, it's easier as always.
A rolling start.
Yeah, probably.
So it can be, they start in spring, and they end in next spring. Okay.
Nice.
And what level? Is it a freshman, junior, senior? As soon as they come into school?
I feel like it should be a freshman thing, because as an incoming freshman, you don't really know what classes to expect. Kind of like SLS, they give you the tools to kind of know what's on the FIU campus, so they can get help. So having it in the first semester kind of gets them in early.
Okay, freshman.
I might suggest not just freshmen because I feel like people go through phases at different points in their lives. So when I was a freshman, I probably would not have been ready for an experience like this. Now I feel like I would be as a junior.
I think definitely junior or older, because I feel like when you come into freshman year, you might not be ready enough or have enough knowledge to take something like that seriously. I feel like I wouldn't have as a freshman, and now as a junior, I've learned enough to kind of understand that.
Okay. Junior. Okay. Any other thoughts? And should it be supervised by a faculty member? Faculty supervision.
Maybe eventually you could phase out the faculty and have alumni from the program.
Mm-hmm. And how many hours per week or during the semester should they meet
Just gonna ask
to get some things done?
I think it could be once a week, but you could do it like a longer class or a longer period of meeting, just so like if you organize projects in between weeks or anything like that, you have more time to be prepared. You know, whatever it is that you want to present based off of whatever that week is, whether it be politics or whatever area you're from, or there's any differences amongst yourself, you have more time to be prepared.
So once a week, you said, right?
Yeah. Once a week, yeah, but like a longer period of time, 2 hours.
Once a week, 2 hours in class, okay. Outside of class, how many hours should the people who are participating in the experienship should communicate with each other or work with each other?
Yeah, very often.
Pardon?
Like often, it should be organized in groups, so we do things like, you know.
Okay. So meet often? Okay. Do you have any other questions for them?
We talked about the outside contact. Can you give any examples of outside type of interactions as part of that experienship? Apart from movies and yes.
Based on, like, according to that culture.
Yes.
I would say, like, you visit a temple, even though you're not religious, you visit a temple and, like, learn about it.
Okay. Okay. Did you get it? Okay.
There's also like music festivals, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Drinks from country and music.
So that's a music festival. Any other type? Yes.
Music.
For one of the projects, we were supposed to visit a religious ground that was different from our own. So if it was similar to yours, for example, Christians, Catholics, or something similar, you wouldn't be able to do that. It wouldn't classify. You have to do something that was completely different from your own.
So along religious differences as well.
And if something like this is started, where would you place it in? Which school or which unit or which college should offer something like this, or should it be through multicultural services or in the SLS? I think it's offered by the university. Yeah. I don't think it's part of any department, as far as I know. No. Maybe it's part of.
I would say it should be stuck with the multicultural office, with the fact that there's a place of center versus going into too many departments, and it's not, the curriculum is not, up to par, and people are not keeping track of the curriculum. So I would say it should be in a center location.
Central location, like multicultural services. Okay. Judy, other questions?
I can ask some more questions.
Okay.
I want to hear more about those experiences that, if you can think, I know you gave some examples. Can you think of any other examples of the type of experience that you think would be beneficial to you, learning from another culture that I'm sure not all of you have not yet experienced the many things that are in other cultures, and are there any experiences that you think you would have wanted to, if you got the opportunity?
I would say I say we should use the resources around us, like the promotion of study abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Because that program is it's a great program. I would say it's one of the best in the country, but a lot of students are intimidated of using the study abroad because of financial reasons and the fear of leaving the country. So I think there should be a auspice within the program, promoting study abroad.
Okay. Thank you.
Then you guys had some.
I was thinking, but it would kind of be hard to do just because. But visiting, like the families, like spending time with another close family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
anything that you have that's here at FIU, you won't have to travel to get it. Which one?
There's something, I don't remember the name of it. Maybe you guys remember. Is it language day? I think it's like language
The work fair.
Was it?
Work fair.
The World Fair. They have like different cultures come together and
Fair.
do performances and everything.
Yeah, the World Fair.
World Fair.
A lot of institutions have them, but they just have different names for them. Some call them International Day, so on. They had that at the University of Missouri.
I think the Honors College does something where they used to
Parade
have
of
students
Nations.
parade of nations or something. But again, that's one for 2 hours. But what I'm thinking is more on a longer term basis.
Yeah.
But those could be a start, like you said. Yes, sir.
The World Fair is a collaboration among all the other multicultural clubs here, like the Haitian Association Club, the Bangladeshi Club, the Chinese Club. And this is an international university, meaning they're bringing all these people here.
Exactly.
We don't got to go anywhere.
That's what I was
Just
saying.
have a couple club meetings on a weekly or monthly basis. And you're going to get to experience their language,
Yeah.
their food, how they interact, their body language. And they're usually always open to you just walk in there and you can just talk about anything. It's free. You get that.
That's where I was heading. Yeah, we have a lot of it here.
At FIU, there's social clubs. There's they got the geek club. So if you think you're a geek, or a nerd, and you're probably gonna find a home there. But I mean, it's the university does do a lot. I think part of what they fall short on is making everybody aware of all these resources. And because there's like over 1,000 of them, you kind of get overloaded, and people just don't end up choosing nothing. They just do what's right in front of them, which is their classes.
I think Dr. Sawyers mentioned this earlier. Each group is different. I mean, they don't mix much. So even though there are different diverse clubs, or a Chinese club or an Indian club or Asian club, they keep to themselves. They don't encourage other. I mean, they don't mix with other groups.
So in essence, the person who is a non-geek would want to try out being part of the geek club to see, what motivates them to be geek.
People that are art clubs, for the most part, most clubs do follow the point system, which is that encourages different activities, and so they have collaboration points, so they have to collaborate with other people. But I definitely see that not a lot of intermingling among them.
Which is what we are talking about, having the opportunity to learn and expose yourself to a different idea, culture, and background, and
together achieve something meaningful.
And achieve something meaningful.
Sustain on a long-term basis, not just say, okay, I went to this meeting and I'm out of it, but maybe interact with those members, form a team or something, and work together to do something in a sustained basis, more than just a casual interaction or just a casual talking to each other casually.
You can incorporate what I forgot to say it, about the idea of solving a world problem.
Okay, yeah, I'll put that in there.
Incorporate that into like the club system. So you can start off at the beginning of the semester, everyone gets into a group, and then from there they are given a problem to solve, and by the end of the semester they'll have the time frame to get together and talk about it. So at the end they present their solution towards it.
Any other thoughts, any concerns?
It sounds a little silly after like solving world problems, but I mean you talked about team building and a great team building things like scavenger hunts, and you can do those on campus. And you could definitely do a cultural theme with them. So like each clue could have to do with one of the cultures of the people in the group, and then you learn about the culture and you learn about your peers as you're going through it. It's like a fun little thing, and you get to know the people really well.
Like Pokemon Go kind of a thing.
We're done?
Okay. Geocaching. Like, yeah. Okay. So what would be the first step to start something like this? Who would I approach, or who would we approach? Or would you be involved in it? Would you like to help us by going and talking to some administrators and say, yes, you're interested in it? Would you, talk to your groups, your sororities or fraternities or clubs you're in, and then ask them to go and talk to some administrators and say, yes, we want something like this?
I would definitely talk to like a study abroad program.
Okay.
We also promote like other faculty-led programs and ISC. Like we make postcards and posters to disperse out too. So we also like to promote other experiences as well.
Okay. So study abroad. It'll be talk to study abroad. Okay.
Let me see a show of hands who would like to have this particular experience be for freshmen. Just to get a feel. Freshmen? We have sophomores? Juniors?
Freshmen, there are 4. How much was for sophomore?
Sophomore.
How many hands?
A few, I must say.
A few?
Mainly juniors. How many about? Juniors again. Can I get a show?
Junior.
Yeah.
12, 13 juniors.
13. Maybe 14.
12 to 14. I didn't get the sophomores. How many for sophomores? Please raise up again. Sophomore.
Not a lot, maybe 2.
I don't know. Okay.
Most are juniors.
Juniors.
Any seniors? Senior year? Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
In sophomore, I think freshmen 4, juniors 12, and seniors 9. 9 people to be seniors.
Okay, so in the last 2 years. Okay.
Any other comments or questions with the time?
We got some. So I guess I'll throw out
You can throw in your question.
one question. I know on one of the tenets of the intergroup theory was all participants being equal. And so I wonder, when you're having a group of people who are from different backgrounds, how, A, if that's possible, and B, how to achieve that. And that's both for open discussion and for both of you as to how we would achieve that.
Did all of you hear the question? How are you going to, one of the social contact theories suggested when people who are participating in a group should be on an equal footing. Their background, they may come from different backgrounds which may not be equal, but when they're in the experience-ship, they should treat each other equally. And I think that's what it means. They may come from different backgrounds which may or may not be equal.
And if they're not going to treat each other as equals, then I think you're not going to have the type of experience-ship that we're looking for.
And that's one of the
they should be
and
willing
conditions of
to treat each other as an equal.
As equal. Other questions?
Great question.
Or comments or ideas? Not all at once, please. Not all. Just kidding. I say that in my class and my students.
Yeah. How do you think this would enrich you as a graduate of FIU? How do you think such an experience would enrich your college degree when you leave FIU?
Yep.
I definitely think that such experience will help open worldviews, so you can have much more of a mature decision, such as politics. And I know a lot of ethnocentric thinking can have effects on policy-making decisions. So that is something that can really benefit later in the future.
Great answer. Any other perspective? How do you see this benefiting?
As business students, I think it would be helpful with future careers, working with international business and kind of understanding a little bit more of
Exactly. Great. Definitely will.
It'll make you more tolerant.
Yes.
Of other, which might help with some racial biases.
Just like I used to think that everyone who wears the hadith were Muslims, way back when. For a while, I thought they were all Muslims. And, once I got to know them and I realized and read about the culture, I realized that the differences and so on and so forth. So we make a lot of assumptions because we do not try to reach out to get to know the culture. And we see a lot of that ignorance,
What do you mean they're not all Muslims? Wait, what did you say? Wait, what did you say?
The hijab, yeah.
But they are all Muslims.
Well, whatever.
Like some Indians, they would have it like in their culture.
Yeah.
They would be Muslim Indians then.
No, even if they're not Muslims.
Yeah. They'll just wear it
as a culture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure everyone who wears the hijab is Muslim.
Maybe that's not the real, just what they wear or the headwear.
There are Muslims who don't wear the hijab.
Yeah.
But everyone who wears the hijab is a Muslim. Yeah.
Anybody here who can respond to that?
Can help us with that.
I disagree because the cultural appropriation. Someone who's wearing it just to wear it.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, that's like, but maybe like the difference. But I get what you're saying. Like,
yeah, I get
there
what.
are people, there are Muslims that don't wear it, but there are.
I just didn't understand your comment.
Yeah.
It just caught me off guard.
Who are not
Yeah.
able to just wear it just for fashion or cultural appropriation.
Okay. I had a couple of hands here. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just going to say that like I see this initiative being taking place as, for like example, like seminar based, and then seminars they would go down to like after you get them together and after you get people into groups, then you could talk about a project within FIU. And within the seminars, divided into topics, for example, health or stuff like that, and then like people from different countries can bring like different stuff. Like relatable news, stuff like that has to do with the topic at hand. Not just that, also the proposition of the clubs. I believe that should be a requirement. For example, that they should do like a rotating thing. They should choose, for example, 3 clubs, and then throughout the span of the semester, go to those specific clubs that they chose. There could be a preliminary list. And then at the same time, when you come back, you have to bring what you learned from those clubs into the initiative. So then the person would have to do a presentation on what he or she has learned from such clubs. So that's how I see it taking place.
Okay. Comments? Did you hear what you said? Any comments?
Oh, sorry. Then come back.
I just wanted to refresh, what is the difference between experienceship abroad and then just regular study abroad? Are there internships abroad?
I'm not associated with study abroad, but do you know anything? Anybody here?
You know what? I'm just thinking because the one that would be done here would have a special criteria and would be assessed. And I'm not sure how it's done with study abroad. If they're going to follow the same type of criteria. And the one here, I would imagine, would have a special project. When you do study abroad, I think it's probably much wider because you're immersed into that culture, not only in terms of what you're studying, but you're in that environment and you're learning as you go along. So the expectations may be wider, a study abroad. And I'm not sure how it's assessed.
I've seen some ads for study abroad. Some of them say, okay, come and learn about architecture in Italy or art in France or something. So I think the professors who teach art, they take them to France to learn about art in France, or those who are in architecture, they talk about architecture in Italy or wherever they go. So I think it's related to the subject area discipline they're in, and when they're immersed in the culture, like you said. But here we have all these groups of students who are not immersing themselves in each other's cultures.
Right.
So that's one reason why we probably need an experiences like this, so they can learn from each other. I mean, it's
right here.
4 years, 4 years of your life, or 5 years, or 6 years, depending on how much time undergraduates take to graduate. You're here with the people from diverse backgrounds, but you don't, beyond what you know about each other from stereotypes or rumors or other things, you're not experiencing them and learning about them from each other. So that's one of the ideas for the Experienceships. So cut through the stereotypes, learn from each other, the truth, so to speak.
I do agree like that. Like those programs are mostly faculty-led programs, and they're like supposed to be in that area. The ISC, which is like a semester exchange at a university, like what my question is like something like that where it seems relatable. Like, would your experienship benefit for their future graduation, or would it like will it have something to do with their major that won't prevent them from being like held back, or will those credits or whatever they receive benefit their graduation year?
It should be incorporated. Again, we're just proposing the idea that it has to go through a whole bunch of process, and it's got to be part of some. For example, the SLS. Is that part of your graduation requirements?
Yes.
So maybe something like that we could make this part of a graduation requirement also. So, and depending on which level it's implemented, maybe for seniors it could be something related to their jobs. Maybe they could work with somebody in an office who is a manager who comes from a different background from themselves. So they know how to work with the people from diverse backgrounds and be ready for the job market. So it could be tailored in different ways. But again, like I said, we're just proposing the idea, and if it gets accepted, then students, you have to give us some ideas on how to implement it and what to do with it. And it has to be part of your graduation requirements, otherwise it's an extra tuition you're spending.
As far as my concluding comment, I just want to, there seems to be a lot of interest in packaging it like this, and I hope some students, talk to you guys about if they want to help further. It seems like a lot of the goals are similar to a well-structured global learning class, where a project in a global learning class might not be as outside of the classroom as this, but global learning classes are designed to be interactive and to have multiple perspectives of the students in the class, and to be problem-based, where you're at least thinking about problem solving and how to design solutions to problems. So if for everyone who is interested in this, which seems like most of you, in the interim, if you're looking for more experiences like this, choose global learning classes where they're applicable to your graduation requirements. And if you're in the global learning medallion, or if you're not, and there's flyers up there for it, all of the experiences that are part of this, even though this packages them in a more intense way with a smaller group of people doing it together over time, which could have its own benefits. Participation in multicultural clubs counts towards earning the global learning medallion. Doing certain service learning counts towards the global learning medallion. Attending events like this counts towards the global learning medallion. So there's a lot in terms of GL courses and GL activities that can get you different elements of what you're looking for and this. And I'm available to answer any questions and introduce you more to those things. And then if you like this framing of it, where you want to do it over a semester or a year with a certain group of students at the same level, and have a more focused project, then definitely, instead of just leaving, I would recommend coming and talking to these two who are interested in starting that, to see if you can help them advocate for that further.
One of the things I'm thinking of is starting it on a pilot basis, offer a course, a seminar kind of a course, and see if students are interested in doing this. And but the one thing is, I don't know how the university will look at it in terms of being a part of a graduate program of study. So that's something maybe you can help us with that, and Dr. Sawyers can help us with that. So if we start a pilot program, would you be interested in being a part of it? Okay. What I'd suggest is maybe I don't know if I give my email address and Dr. Sawyers' contact information. Can we leave it with you? Do you have their email addresses, or how does it work?
I can
put it up there.
Just recommend
just
writing
on there.
Big really quick. That way they can jot them down, because I can send to people who signed in. But if someone's really interested, they can jot down.
THIRU, this is an R, there's no, that's a mistake. It's THIRU, thiru@fiu.edu. That's my email.
That's right. That's right. Sawyers, it's at the bottom. It's at the bottom.
SAWYERS@fia.edu.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the vein of taking advantage of the existing programs as well,
Yes.
Dr. Sawyer's office upstairs has, things you can already join and programs you can already go to.
Exactly.
So check out her website,
Yeah.
mpass.fiu.edu, I would assume.
Right, mpass.fiu.edu.
Dr. Fewer teaches classes in the School of Education.
School of Education.
I'm sure a lot of them cover different multicultural elements of education and may be possible to take as electives even outside of education. So, there are expertise of both of these units you can take advantage of now, even while you consider.
Yeah.
If you're interested, if you can send us a message
Thanks for that plug.
to both of us. If you send it to me, give a copy to Dr. Sawyers.
Yes.
And tell us you're interested in such an experience so we can talk to administrators and see where best to start it and when to start this.
Okay. Thanks, and I look forward to you visiting our website. We have a number of workshops that are multicultural related. So please stop in and go on the site, and we hope to see you.
Thank you both.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you.